Hello everyone, welcome to day 153 of playing chess every day for a year. Let's find the game. We're starting as black here. We get e4, so we know the defense that we play. They play the fantasy. I've actually forgotten what I'm supposed to play against the fantasy. I don't think it's e5. I do have a queen check, although the bishop just comes out. I could just solidly play e6, which could be. I definitely don't want to take. I'll play e6, just a solid move. Although e6 does trap my bishop in once again, and my position will be very cramped, but I definitely don't want to take against the fantasy variation of the Caro-Kann. Develop the knight, I can just pin it now. Develop a piece. And if the bishop moves, I think I would develop my queen. Trying to trade the knight off and have pressure here. If I bring my knight, they can push, which I don't like. They do develop the bishop. I could go after this pawn now. If the knight takes, it's a blunder because I take with check, so they have to defend this pawn. And I don't actually see how. Maybe there's this move. Knight e2 seems like the only move there that would defend this. I'm putting pressure on d4 here. So I think queen b6 is a good move. It forces knight to e2. Makes my opponent think. At some point I'd love to push to open up my bishop. My light squared bishop. They just go back to defend, which is a good move. I could develop my pawn. I could just trade off the bishop and go after the pawn, win the pawn, which is my idea. They defend this, but they didn't defend this. I'll just instantly take this. Threatening to take the rook. They have to play this. They could just move the rook as well, but then they lose all of these pawns. My king's very safe, for now. I'm up one pawn. I've used very little time, but I think I'm doing well. They go for queen trades. I could just drop back. Don't have any tactics of taking the rook. They take with the knight. I could drop back, develop my own knight to put pressure on this, but I think a queen trade's okay, especially when I'm up a pawn. This bishop has a long diagonal here, so I can't do much, but I think I can play a5 here, just trying to take space. I can't develop this knight really right now because of this pawn. This is the only square for it. Although I think I could just develop the knight and castle to be safe. I do like a5. This knight could also go to the center. I think I'll just develop this knight first to e7. Strengthen my center. I'll look to castle next. They bring their bishop. I could castle now. Could also go for a5. Seems like a strong move. Well, now I really want to play b5, just going after this knight. Taking away squares from it. Bringing all my pawns on the king side. Or the queen side, sorry. If I push, it's a blunder because I can't recapture. I can go for this move, which could be very good for me. I think I'll just castle first and then bring my other knight into the game before I play any move like bishop a6. My knights are on very weird squares, but they do support the center very well, so my next move is bishop a6, threatening b4, because bishop a6 and b4, the knight will hang. So even if they capture here, I just take the knight first. I could also take here now, but don't think that's so good. It just gives the bishop more squares. Bishop a6 is my best looking next move. I could bring this knight this way, which could give me this square, but that doesn't do that much. Bishop a6 on knight b6. are my two options. I like my position at the moment. I don't see any ways of doing damage to it. I can't push at the moment, but I can after bishop b6. I'm not sure where to develop this rook. They develop their knight, potentially going for this. Actually, that's not possible. They just move their knight, but I think that gives me this, which would actually be a skewer as well, onto the rook. My opponent can see why I'm trying to set up here. b4 looks like a fantastic move for me. b4, if they take, that's a huge blunder. Not a huge blunder, but b4 they take. Yeah, it's just b4 they take, even trade. Because I have an advantage on this side. Don't see how they stop me pushing b4. They probably have to just move the knight away. Rook over. But I feel like rook over is a weak move. I still just have this. They would win this pawn, but I could go after this pawn now. Knight to b6 seems like a fantastic move. If I can get my knight here, I'll be attacking this. I'll also be threatening a fork. Threatening knight c4, which would then threaten knight to d2 fork of the rooks. This also hits the pawn. They'd have to defend. If they move the rook, I just jump in. And I'm very active. I can choose the right moment to push. If the knight leaves now, that would be annoying, but I'd still play knight c4. Rook b1 is a strange move. It makes sense though, it was stopping me from pushing. My opponent takes. If they take here, I should be worried, but if they take here, I just take with my knight. If they push, that seems very annoying. But then I take. If I go here and they push, I have a fork, and my rooks are defending the back rank, so I think I definitely go for this. If they push, I'm not worried, I just take here. Or if they push, I actually just go here. Knight c4 actually stops pushing as well, which is very cool. If they trade like this, I guess that stops. If they trade the bishop off, I guess that stops my attack, but then I think that's what they do. Obviously I have to take. I don't see anything else. They take there. If I take and they come in, it doesn't actually do anything. This is defended. My bishop is very weak now, which I hate, but I need to try and trade that knight off. I can just take and attack this. The rook can't really come in. If the rook goes here, I just take, so it's a blunder. I'm threatening to take. I'm also threatening to come in here to win this. I lost my extra pawn, but I still think my position is good. If they push, it's just another trade. But if they push, not sure. I'd really love to get this knight off the board. Maybe by bringing my rook to this file, but it's blocked right now. They just defend. Could offer a rook trade. I mean, if I'm able to move this rook, I'll be able to take, so I'll definitely go for a rook trade. And if I take and they take with the knight, I'll be able to push and free up my bishop. They can just move the rook out of the way as their best move, I think. Obviously they can't allow me to take. If I take and they take with the knight, I just push. But I think pushing there would just lose the pawn, so I'm actually not sure. I can also bring my own rook to this file, and then I'm threatening to take instantly. I do have back rank problems, so I need to be careful, but they just push now. But I think if I take and they take, so if I take, I feel like that's a weird move. It does attack my knight, which is annoying, but could take here first, and if the rook takes, that would lose this. I can trade off one rook now. I don't know where to put my knight after a trade. Here, if knight takes, I could just go back this way. I probably just go this way though. Take one rook. They take that way. I wasn't expecting them to do that. So if I take, they take. But then I come in. I like that. They do have this fork. They do have a fork on b6. Don't know what to play after. If they fork me on b6, maybe I just go after this. And if they take, I take with tempo. Wow, they actually just take the pawn. I can get out of the fork by playing this, and if they push, I'm very happy. Pushing frees up my bishop, which I really like, and I really want. I have to get out of the fork right now, though. So I'll go for this move. If they push, I go here. Or this move. I don't see what else they have. Maybe this. But that just loses, so I'll play this. I can actually force a knight trade as well. After I push c3. And if the rook defends like this, after I push, I'm threatening the same. My opponent missed a huge chance. I think they just had the clean fork on b6, which I blundered. If they play this, maybe I go. No, that wouldn't work. They go after my bishop. That does hang 2 pawns. So 2 pawns are hanging right now. One, and if they take another one, and then the rook would hang, but then they'd have this move. I have to save my bishop. My bishop actually can only go this way. My bishop can go to c8 and f5. Could go here, but it's only defended once. My bishop's next move is f5, definitely. Rerouting. I can hit the rook first. Could go for check, but I think this move comes in. I take, I jump in. But then I'm not able to defend. So here, takes. That would be amazing for me. Here takes, so here takes, here takes. If they attack my pawns, I'll just bring my rook, so I'll go for this. If they come in, that's also a fork, but then I can counterattack. I do have massive back rank problems, so I need to be careful. I actually can't counterattack if the rook comes here. I can't counterattack the knight because it would be hanging back rank mate. And they do go for that. So if I go here, they take, I take, so that's fine. If I go here and they take and I take and they give check, I've lost the game. Maybe I'm able to just... I think I have to free up my back rank here. I think I'm losing a pawn. And if I push and they take, this just doesn't work. Completely losing here now. I could just give up this pawn. But then they have just an easy way to promote, so... Could go for this, and if they take, I play her. Not sure what the best move is. It's definitely to... Saving the pawn would make sense, but they can always win them back. I will save my knight. Probably go after this knight. So I'm seeing that the knight is almost trapped. It would only have this square. And then I'd be able to pin it. So... It could also go to a6 though, which is very annoying. Now I'm down a pawn, and it's also an outside passed pawn, so I'm in big trouble. If the rook moves, I guess I'd attack this, but I have big back rank problems here. The knight has b5, so while if I go here, they actually can't mate me because I go back. So I think I'll actually go for the spin. Am I calculating correctly? If I go here and they give check, I can go back. If they trade, I'm happy, but here, no, they can't move the knight. Here, check. Being very dangerous here, but I think I'll risk it with this move. Here, check, I go back if they trade happy, but here, check, I go back if they don't trade. What else do they do? I'll go for this pin. They can't move the knight, and how do they defend the knight? Although if they just move the rook, I can't take the knight because of back rank problems. They give a check. If they trade, I'm happy because I'm the one that's coming in to defend and attack. If they push now. So here push. Here. If push. Well, I know that I need to activate my king right now, so let's bring the king into the game. If I go here and they push, I can go here. But I need to blockade on this square. So once they push, I can go here. They push, I go here. The knight goes back to attack. Strong move. I can just defend, and if they go here... No. If I defend this pawn, and they push, I don't even have this move, so... I'm just going to activate my king. There is this to pick up these, but I pick up these. This is going to be a very, very tough game. This is just a fork. Winning this. If they go here, that's a very annoying move. They do go for that. I don't have to take. Maybe I could just develop. Maybe I could develop as the best move. So I'm not sure. If I take and they take and I take, they can start bringing the king, so... They always have this extra pawn though, which I think just would win them the game. I'm not sure if I'm meant to develop my knight, then take. I think I have to keep material on the board. They do have a check, but then I just take. If they push, I move. So I definitely win a pawn here. Knight up would be a blunder, because it's no distraction, I can always just block. Knight here, I just take. This seems complex. I just need to make sure my king is very active this endgame. Pick up these outside pass pawns. Then we'd be in the 3-on-3. They do go for this knight move. I think... No, I'm not sure if I'm supposed to come here. Well, if I come here and they push, I can always go here. So I'm not sure if I'm meant to come in and win this. Forget about this. This is also a fork. Where does the knight move? If I go here, the knight can give this check, but I would give up this. If I go here and they go here, I can just go here to hold this. I think I actually go up. Need to be active. If they push a6, I need to play b5, knight b5. So yeah, I could also play this move, but I think that's very dangerous. Also, if I take and they push, yeah, I can't take. If I take and they push, I don't have any defense. So I need to play knight here first. The knight hangs. Maybe this move is a good move. But no, I just take and they never have anything down here. I was going to say maybe this is a good move to force my knight away, but then I can always go to a8. So that doesn't work. Otherwise that could have been a great move. If check, I just take. The knight hangs, has to move. If this check, which looks interesting, I still just take. Because I control this. I'm up on the clock here, so I should probably spend some time calculating. So my opponent does choose this check. If I take, I don't see any forks or anything. Definitely have to take her. They go there. That does threaten to push. Maybe I go here to just blockade this pawn. If I go here to blockade, they'd have big trouble trying to trade the knight off. Maybe I can't go here. Because I can't go here, I think I go here to blockade. And now is the time for me to start running my king. Actually stepping this way first. So they can promote here. Can I trap the knight? The knight would only have 2 squares. I can actually trap the knight. They promote, I can go here. The knight is trapped. The knight is trapped. There's no defense. Although the king is fast. The king is very quick to come in. Could start throwing my pawns forward, but... So here, here. This is the problem. Now here. This, they just come in completely behind my pawns, so I think I have to go for this. I think I'm completely lost here. They push there. If I go here, yeah, this is completely lost. If I go here, they just step here. I step this way. I mean, they can't come in, so I step here. They take. They can come here. And it's just over. Go here. Here. They take. I have this. But then they take. It's completely lost either way, so. They take, I have this. Can't really go around because then they come here. And they can slowly just start bringing the pawns. Stepping back allows the king in here, so... No, now I just lose the pawn. And I have to go around, so... Yeah, I have no moves. I'll just resign. Good game to my opponent. Let's look at this game. My opponent played with an 85.8, I played with an 80.4. So there was a point in the game where we were completely equal. And early in the game it was actually me who was winning. I did have 3 mistakes, my opponent had 2. We both had a miss. So I played the Caro-Kann. I don't take against the fantasy. E6 is the best move. Pinning is good. I won a pawn here, so that was a mistake from my opponent. Trading's fine. A5 isn't that good. It's actually B6, which is best to stop any... Maybe B6 lets me develop my bishop. And this was all okay. This was my big mistake. This was my mistake jumping in. Because I just gave up my extra pawn. Lose my whole advantage. That was a terrible knight move. I had to just take here and accept the trade. There was nothing there really. But taking this pawn was my opponent's mistake, because I just take back and I'm attacking this. They defend. They can recapture. This was bad from me. This puts my opponent in a winning position. I actually had to kick the knight away right now, ignoring the fork. Because if I go here and they fork me, I take. If they take, I have a check. Instead I go up, which is wrong. This is wrong. I actually had to just save the knight and go on the strong square on b3, which I saw, which this also defends this pawn, which is very, very important. Going after the rook was actually wrong, so this was a losing mistake. My bishop was fine on the back rank. The knight's never moving anywhere really. I did have to play knight to b3, which was my other mistake. This is a fork, and I actually had to jump in here defending this, but I go back, which is wrong. This is a mistake, because after we simplify, my opponent can actually bring their king in. They are much more active than me. And I have to give up Natura and I'm completely lost. So I didn't have anything here. Although here it was me who was much more active. I should have taken this outside pass pawn, instead of just... Yeah, and so here I was completely losing. Even though I win the knight, my opponent's the one who comes in, so there's nothing to say about this endgame. It's just completely lost. Nothing I can do. So it was my biggest mistake, really, to... It was a huge miss for me to not take the pawn. The next best move would be king e3, just being active. For me, it would probably king b5. And then king d4. King c6. And the line would continue. My opponent's winning, because they have an extra pawn. So I did have to take the a5 pawn, but instead I come in, which is wrong. They do find this b6 move, which forces a trade. Forces me into a losing endgame, so my big mistake for not taking the outside pawn, the furthest one. My opponent did have his own mistakes this game, like taking here and allowing me to win a pawn. But I think it was me who just played far too quickly this game. Didn't calculate, didn't use any of my time, so my opponent gets to win. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow.